Shabbat Shalom. What a special, special evening as we have come together to celebrate Shabbat, and this very special Shabbat as a year and a half after he arrived, we are installing Rabbi Michael Weiss as the new assistant rabbi at Congregation Schaarai Zedek. And let me tell you, I know, looking at the congregation today and knowing who is joining us online, we do have this feature for those viewing through the website. We don't get to do this with YouTube or Facebook, but we can see geographically where people are. And an amazing thing happened when Rabbi Weiss came here, that we got a whole lot more dots in the Toronto area. And I think tonight especially, although your service starts at 6:30, so I think the Har Zion community, that their goal is to join us after their service on YouTube, where you can rewind and watch as if you're starting at the beginning. But wherever you are, we are so glad that you're here this evening, joining us as we celebrate Rabbi Weiss and this beautiful connection that's been made with our community. There's this very special thing about Rabbi that when he walks into a room, you just feel the energy and the excitement and the passion of what he's doing. Tonight, when you pulled into the parking lot, you could feel it. And Rabbi, we are so excited to share this moment with you, to have your family visiting, your parents, two of your grandparents, and I know two others are with us online. Let's all wave at Rabbi Weiss's grandparents. Good. And again, one of the reasons that we haven't done this until now is because you've been able to travel from Canada, you're just not able to go back. And we are joined on the Bima today, I should mention, by Rabbi Weiss, who is sitting next to Rabbi Weiss, because Rabbi Corey Weiss is the rabbi at Har Zion in Thornhill. And so I said from the beginning, you can come. We'll find an office for you. We would love to have you as a scholar in residence, but they never took me up on it. But if the border closes between now and Tuesday, we are in for a treat. Yes. Just a few quick announcements before our service begins. The entire service will be on the screens behind us, in front of you. For those who are in the congregation, when whatever we are doing is also able to be found in your Siddur, there will be a page number on the screen if you prefer a prayer book. If you're at home, you're stuck with what we've got, but we've got everything that you need. If you have not turned off your cell phone yet, or at least turned it to silent, this is a great time to do so. And to Rabbi Weiss's grandparents, we still don't allow pictures during the service. But again, everything is being recorded, and we'll pose for any pictures you want after the service. In addition to Rabbi Weiss and Rabbi Weiss, I'm joined on the Bima, of course, by Cantor Canizaro, Scott Schimberg, our president and board representative this evening. Robert Jarash is our accompanist, adding so much beauty to our service. And of course, Mark Levine, Jan Knapik in the back, making sure everyone at home has a wonderful experience, and it's great to have so much of our staff here tonight as we celebrate Rabbi Weiss. Candles and Kiddush, Cantor, or do we have something before?
We have candles and Kiddush.
Wonderful. So for the blessing over our Shabbat candles and Kiddush, we are so delighted to invite Rabbi's grandparents, Susan and Robert Weiss, to the Bima.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be amongst those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hagid ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctify us with your mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the Holy Sabbath our heritage as a reminder of our work of creation. As of first among our sacred days recalls the Exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from our people. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat and inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziyat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta b'kol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Always my favorite part as a kid. So our opening song this evening is Ki Eshmera Shabbat, but we have a surprise. The version that I'm going to sing for you was written by Rabbi Weiss's father, Rabbi Corey Weiss. And even more exciting, this particular version of Ki Eshmera Shabbat has been chosen to be published in the next anthology, Shabbat 10, published by Transcontinental Music Publications. And I can tell you it was chosen from over 300 submissions. So I'm very excited to sing this as a debut here and for Rabbi Weiss. Ki Eshmera Shabbat אשמרה שבת, אל ישמרני, כי אשמרה שבת, אל ישמרני, אל ישמרני.
That me?
Is it in your mask? If it's in your mask, that's why. It's okay, honey. Take your time.
Take a deep breath. You can't rush a prayer to God. If it comes from your heart, it will rush out on its own, speed through receding galaxies or silences of the soul. Honesty with all, but speaking to God is different. Mine the soul for your coal and gems and regular earth. No pretense, and God will hear. Don't force the prayer or string words together. Pause. Perhaps better not to pray. Silence will be a message of awe, and God will hear. Now step off into the very deep, beyond the way of prayer. We glimpse unknown magnitudes of God, no more, or we would be stunned into silence. Except that love makes itself small, we could not pray at all. We rise in our places or in our hearts for the Baruch, our call to worship.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? La 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai,
Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la Let's read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings brings on the evening.
We are all seated. Please join with me as together we chant Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Alevavecha Veshinantam Levanecha V'divarta bam Beshivtecha B'veitecha U'vlechtecha V'derech U'v'shochtecha U'v'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot ben einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hosseiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. We read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
שנאמר כבד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גא ישראל.
May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to live renewed. May night spread over us the shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, the blessing of rest. There will come a time when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish. There will come a day of happiness, of contentment, of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed. We rise now for the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim ve'rofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidom elach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimecha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We are seated. Let us read together. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Blessed are you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence.
So it must be nice to be Rabbi Weiss's family. They have musicians everywhere you look. So we are honored to invite up to join us in Shalom Rav, his brother Jacob, who will be joining us on percussion for this song, which is a new melody. I think you're going to like this melody. It's awesome.
I played it on repeat over the summer. seasons of celebration that we feel most keenly the absence of those in our lives who cannot be here, for they lie on beds of pain, in need of healing of mind, body, and soul, who so often feel far from a life of wholeness. But through our community, we can send love and blessings to the people that we care about. If there's someone you're thinking of at this time in need of healing, please hold their name tightly in your heart for just a moment. Think about sending them a text, letting them know that you care after service. We'll take all of those names into each of our hearts as we sing our communal prayer for healing, Misha Beirach. Take a moment now for silent prayer, to listen to the prayers inside us that yearn to be heard.
Dear I didn't have my microphone on for that. That's okay, because I messed up all my harmonies anyway. I don't know about you all, but I am enjoying this very, very much. And before I begin my remarks, I would like for you to join me in Shehechianu for this very special moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu, Lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who's given us life and sustained us and enabled us to reach this very special moment. And this is a special occasion as we officially install Rabbi Michael Weiss as our assistant rabbi. And that moment, in and of itself, is worthy of saying Shehechianu. But that's not why we just said Shehechianu. Because I'm pretty sure that that piece, Petach Libi, was the first time in 18 months that Rabbi has sung the melody for one of our prayers. You see, while we knew that we had found a gem in bringing Rabbi Weiss to Tampa, we did not know when we offered him the position 2 years ago about his voice. And I will never forget the first Friday that Rabbi and I were on the Bema together. I was over there in my box, and he was over there in his. Cantor was away, and I was playing guitar and leading the music, and I was Cantor for the evening, and Rabbi was Rabbi. And Rabbi Weiss said, "Would it be okay if I sang some harmonies?" And I said, "Why not?" And I wasn't 100% sure what to expect. And I'll be honest, I couldn't really hear him during the service. At that point, we had no congregants in the sanctuary, so we really weren't thinking about what sound was like in here. We were much more concerned about how things were on the stream. But when the service ended, there must have been something like 400 comments on Facebook about the beautiful harmonies. All right, maybe it was only 300. We knew that we had an extra gift, even more than we had imagined when we first met Rabbi Weiss during his interviews. And he has added to the beauty of our services with his harmonies every Friday evening since. So in thinking about this evening and officially welcoming and celebrating our new assistant rabbi, I asked myself, what does it mean to be a harmony? A harmony has to listen. It has to want to learn. It has to want to find its place next to an established melody. A harmony has to be confident, willing to try something new and different. But a harmony also has to be humble, willing to add beauty a little bit behind the scenes. Rabbi Weiss, in such a beautiful way, you have become that harmony that adds so much to the song that is Schaarai Zedek. Let's think about it. A harmony has to learn, to listen, to find its place. Some newly minted rabbis, maybe even more so those rabbis who grew up with rabbis, they can come out of ordination thinking that they know everything that there is to know about being a rabbi. They just had to find the synagogue that would let them do it. That was not our Rabbi Weiss. Rabbi joined us in July of 2020, eager to learn how Schaarai Zedek ticks. He wanted to know how I did a baby naming, how I did a wedding, how I did a funeral, not so that he could do it the same way that I do, but before he figured out his own way, he wanted to understand why I did the things I did. No doubt he also knew from his dad, from other mentors, but he was at Schaarai Zedek now, and he wanted to learn our melody. And this has been the case with every single piece of synagogue life. Harmony has to be humble, willing to add beauty from behind the scenes. In case you forgot, Rabbi Weiss arrived during a pandemic, and we were all just figuring out how to bring the congregation to you in your homes. After postponing 3 months of B'nai Mitzvah, we started up again right after Rabbi arrived. And we were allowing just a limited number of immediate family in the sanctuary, but most friends and family were joining via Zoom or our live stream, and all of the honors in the service were by Zoom. So for those who are kind of Zoom literate, that meant we had a webinar going. Everyone was in the participants, and someone had to know when to bring on Great Aunt Sally for the Aliyah, when to send her back, when to bring on Cousin Johnny for his ark opening or whatever he was doing. So at a time when we were trying to limit the number of people in the sanctuary period, where we had a real need of someone who knew the service, who knew Zoom, who knew how to make this as smooth as possible, Rabbi Weiss volunteered to run our Zoom from his home. He was perfect for it, but I felt bad that he wasn't on the bima being seen. But to Rabbi Weiss, that didn't matter, not only because he could stay in his pajamas, but because he wanted to be where we needed him. And again, this was an opportunity to get to know the service so that he would be prepared when he was the one leading it. Rabbi, whatever I have asked you to do or not do, there has never been any concern, no ego. It's a unique thing for a rabbi. And that's something that we are extremely lucky and grateful for. And a harmony has to be confident, willing to try something different, something perhaps that's never been sung before. I don't know if you all know this, but Rabbi Weiss has been playing Dungeons and Dragons with an extremely, extremely happy group of 7th and 8th graders on Sunday mornings as a part of our religious school's elective program. Now, I can't say this for sure, but I'm fairly confident that this is the first Sunday school Dungeons and Dragons group in the history of the world. And this is only one way in which Rabbi's own interests and passion will continue to enhance his rabbinate and enhance our synagogue. And you can keep an eye out for the next shofar which will have more information on Rabbi's next big program, but I don't want to give anything away because it's going to be in the shofar, and now people are going to read it. What's special to me is Rabbi's willingness to share any idea that he has, knowing that it may happen, it may not, or some variation of it may eventually evolve. But regardless, this conversation of vision is often enough, as Rabbi Weiss is much more concerned with understanding the process than whatever the ultimate result is. And again, this is a really unique, special quality that makes me a very lucky senior rabbi. And this is in addition to the ways in which Rabbi Weiss has beautifully settled into the traditional roles of rabbi, teaching our Saturday morning Torah study, writing and delivering thoughtful and engaging sermons, teaching congregants of all ages, visiting our congregants in times of need, and celebrating in times of joy. And in many ways, the beauty of a really special harmony, not everyone, but those really special ones, as Cantor and Rabbi both know, there are some times that we're singing a song that we've known forever, and you think you're singing the melody, but then you realize you're actually singing a harmony. But that harmony was so special, so unique, that it came to be known as a melody in and of itself. In Rabbi Weiss, we have found that kind of harmony. And as we've gotten to watch you create your place here at Schaarai Zedek, we've seen your own melody blossom and grow into something that doesn't just complement, but is truly a part of who we are as a congregation. We are a better synagogue because of it. And I'm so pleased that we finally get to celebrate you this evening. Now, so much of that balance of confidence and humility, of wisdom and eagerness to learn, of menschiness and menschiness, nothing has to balance with menschiness. All of this is a testament to those who raised you. And we are so pleased to have your parents, your grandparents, your brother here. And I know that we have 2 more grandparents on our live stream, along with family and friends. When we interviewed Rabbi Weiss, we really did love that he was what we call in the business an RK, a rabbi's kid. But we particularly loved that he was Rabbi Corey Weiss's kid. Not only because that Rabbi Weiss plays French horn like me, and accordion like Rabbi Bernholtz, and that is not fair to you because you play French horn much, much better than me, and accordion much, much better. Well, I won't say that part. But mostly because Rabbi Weiss is a rabbi who is beloved by his congregation, who along with his wife Karen have created holy communities. And we know that along with that message of be a mensch, with which Rabbi Weiss told us he was sent off to school every single day of his life, Rabbi and Karen instilled in him a sense of what that kind of holy community is and can be. So just as I am delighted to have Rabbi Michael Weiss as a partner and friend as we continue to build a holy community here in Tampa, it is truly my honor now to invite Rabbi Corey Weiss to share some words with us on this very special evening.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Simon. Unlike my younger clergy colleagues here, I'm not an iPad person. And I have just realized that I am so not used to hearing Rabbi Weiss not be me. But I love it. A new assistant rabbi came to a congregation. When he sat down in his new office, he opened the desk drawer and found 3 envelopes. The first said, "If something goes wrong, open this envelope." The second said, "If something goes really wrong, open this envelope." And the third, "If something goes disastrously wrong, open this envelope. As time went by, the new rabbi and his congregation got to know each other, and things were going well. But most congregations and rabbis aren't perfect, so things happen. When the first snafu came up, the rabbi opened the first envelope. Inside was a piece of paper that said simply, "Blame the president." A few years later, a big problem came up. So the rabbi opened the second envelope. Inside was a piece of paper that read, "Blame the senior rabbi." Sometime later, things fell apart. Everyone was fighting with everyone else. The staff couldn't get along, and to top it off, the roof started leaking, the mortgage came due, and everyone somehow blamed the assistant rabbi. This time, the rabbi, not knowing what else to do, went to the third envelope. When he opened it, he found one more piece of paper that had 3 words written on it: "Prepare 3 envelopes." Friends, from all Karen and I have learned about Congregation Schaarai Zedek, I doubt your rabbis and cantor would need those envelopes. We know that this is a good, healthy, caring, and learned congregation, as well as historic, and we're so proud that Rabbi Weiss found you. But I couldn't resist telling you the 3 envelope story, as my rabbi, Stephen Pierce, told that story at the 3 installations he spoke at during my career, starting way back in 1993 at Congregation Beth Israel in West Hartford, Connecticut, where your Rabbi Weiss lived from the time he was 2 until he was 8. Before I continue, I want to offer my deepest gratitude to Rabbi Simon for welcoming us to Tampa with open arms, to Cantor Canizaro for being the best kind of cantor, the kind that allows her musical rabbis to sing and play and express their musicality, and to Rabbi Bernholtz for being a guide and mentor to Rabbi Weiss as he begins his rabbinate. I have very fond memories of Rabbi Harold Silver, my first rabbi emeritus, who became one of my rabbis as soon as I came to my first position. And thanks to the entire congregation for taking Rabbi Weiss on as one of your leaders and teachers, and especially tonight for organizing this beautiful installation service. You see, as you've heard, because we live in the Great White North, COVID has kept us from seeing Michael in person for a year and a half, and from seeing my parents, Michael's grandparents, Susan and Robert Weiss, for 2 years. You have made this wonderful reunion possible, and Karen, Jacob, and I couldn't be more grateful. I won't go on forever because I know there's much more to come in tonight's service, but knowing how happy Rabbi Weiss is that he found Congregation Schaarai Zedek, I want to make sure you all know how blessed you are to have found him. Not to tell too much, although I guess I'm entitled, here is what is so special about Rabbi Michael Weiss. First, he absolutely loves what he does. I had the opportunity to meet most of Michael's class at HUC, and I can tell you, only a few of his colleagues can match the devotion to tradition and worship that Michael has. His rabbinic thesis was on the development of the role of the Shaliach Tzibor, the service leader, and he has always found new and creative ways to help congregants pray. That love goes back a long way. When Michael was 4, and Karen was pregnant with Jacob, and working as a full-time Jewish educator at the shul where I was assistant rabbi, a friend of ours, Jerry Keel, used to take Michael to his swimming lessons to help us out. After the lesson, Jerry would take him to Friendly's, a New England institution. Some of you are nodding, good. for lunch. And Jerry would proudly report to us that Michael would never start a meal without saying motzi first. So what more could Jewish parents ask for? Second, Michael is an amazing teacher of children and adults. Some of his curricula are still in use at URJ Camp George in Ontario, and everyone who ever learned with him remembers him with enthusiasm. At camp this past summer, I was teaching a group of the youngest campers called Nitzotzot, Sparks. Their counselor asked me, "You're Michael Weiss's dad, aren't you?" "Yes, I am," I said proudly. "He was my counselor when I was in Nitzotzot, and he was the best counselor I ever had." Talk about kvelling. Not to mention how nice it is to be called Michael Weiss's dad. You are blessed to have Michael as a teacher of Torah in your community. I don't know too many rabbis who can manage to teach Judaism using D&D. Finally, Michael is a mensch. He is one of the most decent, caring, and sensitive people I've ever met. Now, we made sure of that. As Rabbi Simon mentioned, every time Michael and Jacob would leave the house, we would tell them, "Sei a mensch, be a mensch." He is always thinking about everyone else, and since he was very little, he has cared a great deal about fighting injustice and inhumanity. The first time a child in his nursery school class hit him, he almost fainted from the shock. He couldn't understand why anyone would want to hurt anyone else. That sensitivity makes him an incredible pastor and counselor, and also a rabbi who is passionate about social justice. I am so proud not only to call him my son, but also a friend, and now a colleague. All of these qualities lead me to say to all of you, Kol HaKavod, you made a great choice in bringing Rabbi Michael Weiss to Tampa. And I pray that your relationship will continue to grow and flourish over the years. Now, before we get out the power tools and install Rabbi Weiss officially, I'd like to ask for your help. You see, rabbis don't really learn how to be rabbis at Hebrew Union College. Yes, we learn a lot, but only when you're serving a congregation and doing the things that rabbis do you learn how to be a good rabbi. So Rabbi Simon and Cantor Canizero continue to give Michael opportunities to learn and grow, to try new things and innovate. You, along with Rabbi Bernholtz and the members of Schaarai Zedek, will guide him and give him the experiences that will shape his rabbinate and will help him to become an even better rabbi than he already is. And most important of all, be his family. From the time he was born, Michael has been surrounded by loving congregational families. He knows that he can rely on you to love and support him, just as he will love and support all of you. It's not every new rabbi who takes a pulpit back in the old country while his immigrant family continues to make their way in their new land. Karen and I know that you have embraced Michael, and we also know that as the years go by, we can count on you to care for him and nurture him as your leader and teacher. And now, Rabbi Michael Weiss, I'd like to call you over. Are we going to bring the microphone? How are we doing this? Okay, I think we're going to stand in front. Is that what we decided? As we officially install you as the Assistant Rabbi of Congregation Schaarai Zedek, I ask the congregation to rise as we open the ark. Let Rabbi Simon do this. I don't know how your ark opens. There we go.
slides open. No but.
Moshe kibel Torah miSinai, u'misara liHoshua, v'Hoshua lizkenim linviim, u'neviim misara la'anshei Knesset Hagadola, hem amru shlosha devarim, hevu mitunim badin, v'ha'amidu talmidim harbeh, v'asu siyag laTorah. Hard to look at each other, isn't it? Yeah. Moses received the Torah at Mount Sinai. He transmitted it to Joshua. Joshua, in turn, passed it to the elders, and the elders to the prophets. The prophets transmitted Torah to the sages of the great assembly. The sages taught three things: be deliberate in judgment, raise up many disciples, and protect the integrity of Torah. Rabbi Michael Weiss, this chain of tradition links Sinai to this very moment and continues now as it has in every generation as we stand before the Sifrei Torah. Our God and God of our ancestors, bestow your blessings on Rabbi Weiss and this congregation. Instill in him wisdom and righteousness, steadfastness and devotion, as he officially assumes the position of Assistant Rabbi of Congregation Schaarai Zedek. Grant Rabbi Weiss a wise heart, candor, and courage. May he respond to every challenge with dignity. Implant within him a full measure of your compassion, that he might embody the words of our tradition. Hevemi talmidav shel Aharon, ohev shalom v'rodef shalom, ohev et habriot u'mekarvan la Torah. Be a disciple of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving all people, and drawing them closer to Torah.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. My God, God of my ancestors, I pray that you will be my guide as I humbly embark upon the task of leading this holy community. May we work together as sacred partners to fulfill the vision and the mission of this Kehillah Kedosha. May I never lead them astray, knowingly or inadvertently, and may my hands and heart be ever faithful in serving you. Yirachecha Adonai hodi'eni, or chotecha lamdeni. Show me your ways, Adonai. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth, and teach me.
And as your mom and I had the privilege of offering you the priestly blessing every Shabbat for, 25 years?
Long time.
24 years? Whenever you left home, I don't remember. And occasionally when you would come visit, I'd like to ask Rabbi Simon, Rabbi Bernholtz, and Cantor Canizaro to join me in offering you a blessing.
Usually on the other side of this.
I know you are. We don't get to receive these very often.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Rabbi Weiss and my friend Michael, may God continue to give you many moments like this as you are surrounded by family who love you so much, especially the gift of grandparents here and on Zoom, fulfilling dreams that they could never have imagined. May God also continue to give you that heart by which you touch everybody with such love and compassion, that great mind that brings such insight into our ancient tradition and in such an easy way allows you to interpret it for us and then allow us to think on our own. May the music that stirs your soul, we pray that God will continue to allow us to touch that, not only through your voice, but also through that spirit of music that comes through our tradition as well. And may God always continue to give you that special way of looking at the world that's so different from others, that allows us to see what is funny and humorous and meaningful in even the smallest things. For in your giving and sharing with us these many, many gifts, not only to count in addition to it your great appreciation for everybody and everything that you feel we do for you and you truly do for us. As God gives you all of these gifts, we know that because of your peace through these gifts, you share that peace with us. And it's a peace that now continues to envelop our congregation with a new sense of purpose. May God be with you in all the good you do and all the joy we hope we can share with you. Amen.
All right, I'm hugging whoever's okay with that. Oh, there's something.
And, as is always our
Finally.
tradition, it is my pleasure to present you with your sweet Schaarai Zedek razor.
My first.
And I'm going to give you
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Uncomfortable. Thank you.
my pleasure.
Beautiful. I'm flashing back to confirmation, where my dad and I were in a very similar position. I am so glad I wrote everything down tonight. Thank you, Rabbi Simon. Thank you, Rabbi Weiss. I am so grateful that all of us were able to make tonight happen a year and a half into my time here. It has been worth the wait. I interviewed here at Schaarai Zedek in February 2020 and accepted the job just a week before a certain virus took center stage in so many of our lives. The entire world was disrupted. The way we lived began to show its cracks. I am so grateful to be standing here right now, alive and healthy. But COVID has in so many ways defined my rabbinate from the very beginning. In late March 2020, my rabbinic class gathered to figure out our ordination service, which would typically have taken place at Plum Street Temple in Cincinnati, where so many rabbis have been ordained before me. They ascend the bima of that beautiful place, and through smicha, the laying of hands, they are transformed. But my class needed to do something different. It was early days, so we had already given up on having something in person. We planned a wonderful Zoom ceremony, attuned to our unique needs. We each shared a Jewish text that meant something to us, and still means something to us. And once it was over, we all changed our Zoom names to include our new title, Rabbi. And it was as nice as it could have possibly been. It was something we planned together. It was surrounded by people I loved on boxes in the screen. But a little while on, I realized that it felt like things were incomplete. It turns out that there were needs that I didn't know that I had. Seeing my colleagues in the class of 2021 posting about their ordination ceremony online opened that wound up again. I felt regret and a sense of loss at what could have been. And maybe I was a little jealous, and then I got mad at myself for feeling jealous. These were complicated feelings, like the kind so many of us have confronted during this pandemic. But tonight, my heart is more full than I can describe. And so I'm going to turn to our tradition to help me put it into words. Well, even though this is an evening service, my thoughts turn to our morning liturgy, specifically a prayer called Modeh Ani. It reads, I give thanks to you, living and everlasting ruler, for you have restored my soul with mercy. For so long, it felt like a piece of my soul had been taken away. But you, all of you here tonight, in this sanctuary, joining us online, and the people who aren't here, who helped me get here in big ways or small, you have helped restore my soul to me. Thank you. It has been a year and a half, and that's a little later than when an installation typically happens, but as you heard, we had to wait until the Canadian border opened up so that my parents and brother could be here. And without them, I would not be here. Dad, you are a huge part of why I became a rabbi. I am so proud to have so much of your warmth and your love of teaching. And you always role modeled how to make your platform a place to share your enthusiasm for the things you love nearly as much as Judaism, like Broadway. You showed me how to love something deeply and share that love with others. Judaism, people, anything else. Mom, you are my most important teacher. And I am so grateful to have you as a brainstorming partner. But more than that, you've shown over and over again how to treat every person with kindness, as precious beings made in God's image. The things that you've taught me guide me every day. And the two of you gave me my soul in the first place. Jacob, you've been my brother since the day you were born. And one of my favorite people for a lot of that time. Your creativity makes me want to create more. And you make me laugh more than anyone else can. I love you so much. And Grandma and Papa, too, I know that you're joining us from home or watching the recording. And Nana and Papa dear here from Charlotte, thank you for cheering me on every step of the way for my entire life. I'm gonna call you more between appointments, so keep your phone on, keep your ringer on. And this first year and a half would have been so much more challenging for me if not for the incredible team here at Schaarai Zedek who made my transition into this sacred work joyous, easy, and meaningful. My soul has been restored not just through the celebrations this weekend, but through the devotion of every person here at the temple, working alongside folks who love Jewish community as much as I do, is a gift that I cherish every day. And as I walk into the building each day, greeted by our security team, who keeps us safe with a smile on their faces, our maintenance staff, who amaze me with their devotion, and who understand that their work is holy, as they help us to build this holy community. Our office staff who have been so patient with me as I've learned how everything works, often asking the same question 3 or 4 times, just to be sure, to receive this kind of unconditional support from our staff has restored my soul to me. And I would have never walked through that door without our search committee. Tampa has become one of my favorite places in the world, and there is no question that this temple is my favorite place in Tampa. And Dave Rosenbach, who chaired that committee, you helped restore my soul to me by helping me to see this community at its absolute best that weekend in February 2020. Because of you, I was able to begin to see myself as a rabbi here. I am honored to be able to work with our incredible lay leaders, our board of trustees, our committees, our teachers, our choir, and anyone else who makes this community a priority in their lives. You keep this congregation moving, living, breathing. You give so much of your own time and resources to the Jewish community you love, and I hope you feel that love coming back to you. Thank you for restoring my soul. Now, not everyone may know this, But just before High Holy Days this year, Con Whiteside joined our staff as our executive assistant. And what a time to start. Con, thank you for helping me not be one of the newest hires at the temple. You have stepped into your role with grace and kindness. I am grateful to know that I can count on you for anything. And it is so special that you chose to be here this evening. Being able to be on the journey along with you as we both learn more and more about our community has restored my soul to me. In working with Jody and her team in the preschool, I've learned that those tiny people can teach me so much, make me laugh, and give me hope for a kinder world in the future. Being a part of that strong, diverse learning community that has been created here has restored my soul. Lindsay, I am constantly in awe of you. You know everyone and who would get along with who. You always have some out there creative art project ready to go. I am so grateful that I get to learn from your experience. Being able to partner with you on so many incredible and dynamic programs in these difficult times has restored my soul to me. Molly, I don't know if you're in the building with us tonight, but you're with us.
She is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't see everyone, I think. Working with you at religious school has been such a treat. I happen to think that Jewish educators are some of the best people in the world, and you embody that. You share your love for our students generously, and it makes our school a wonderful, safe, and loving place to be. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to play Dungeons and Dragons with our students. It has made Sunday one of my favorite days of the week and restored my soul. Donna, I am so glad that you came back to join us here. Your institutional knowledge has been life-saving, and more than that, you care about this community so much. I hope you know that this community cares a great deal about you too. I look forward to learning so much more from you and about you, knowing that we can sit down and have lunch together anytime and share what we love about this place has restored my soul to me. I almost skipped over one, but I want to make sure I mention everyone. Becca Pollock. It has been so lovely to be reintroduced to you again since we met in Cincinnati quite a while ago. You create such wonderful experiences for our teens and our 20s and 30s group here. I am privileged to be able to join with you on that. Mark Levine, you are the best synagogue executive director in the country, and you can quote me on that. There is no task too small for you, because you understand that every detail of what happens in this place is a part of building up and nourishing our holy community. Thank you for reminding me that everything here matters, and that none of us are too important to roll up our sleeves and pick up a shovel. If you were at our outdoor religious school last year, there were horses. Having you as a co-conspirator here has restored my soul to me. Cantor Canizaro, there are very few people in this world that I love singing Jewish music with more than you. And anyone else who's on that list is in here in the room right now. It is so wonderful to find someone who appreciates the healing and uplifting power of sacred song. As with our harmonizing, we complement each other well. And I would not have been able to get my first B'nai Mitzvah students to the finish line without all of your help. All of this has restored my soul to me. Rabbi Bernholtz, I am so glad that you're always a phone call away. You've guided me through so much, and more than that, your rabbinic wisdom is everywhere in this congregation, in the walls, in the books, in the people. You helped build a beautiful house in which God dwells. And I know so much of what I've learned from Rabbi Simon, he learned from you. Your indelible mark on my rabbinate has restored my soul to me. And Rabbi Simon, when I went into rabbinic placement, I knew that I wanted a really good rabbinic mentor, someone willing to share everything they know, someone patient as I learn new things, and someone who would let me be their friend along with their colleagues. You are all of that and more than I could have possibly hoped for. You are very close to the top of my list of mentors, and you know the competition for that is pretty fierce. You have given me every opportunity to bring my passions into my rabbinate here. You have walked alongside me as I've had chances to walk alongside members of our community in times of joy and struggle. I could not have made it this far without you, and I'm excited to see the heights that we can ascend to. You have restored my soul to me in more ways than I can express. And to all of you, everyone, getting to be with the members of Congregation Schaarai Zedek for the last year and a half has made the challenge of starting a rabbinate in the middle of a pandemic beautiful and powerful. Knowing that I get to be with you in life's highs and lows, to hear your stories, to learn from your perspectives, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I will do everything I can to live up to the trust that you put in me. I am so proud to be your rabbi. You restore my soul every day. I would say that I feel like the luckiest person on the bay, but as my dad always says, coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous. God, you have restored my soul with mercy. And I feel God's mercy in helping to bring me here in a time when all of us, myself included, were in need of hope, of healing, of caring community. How wonderful it is to be a part of a community in which we are present to restore one another's souls in times of need. As we say when we finish a book of Torah, which we are doing this weekend, Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and let us strengthen each other. Shabbat shalom.
But wait, there's more. Karen, we're going to invite you to come up at this time.
Shabbat shalom. Putting all the Weisses to work. Michael's dad and I met and fell in love in Jerusalem in our first year of rabbinical and graduate school, almost 33 years ago. I became an adult bat mitzvah in 1989, and for that simcha, Corey wrote a song dedicated to me, sometimes considered one of his best pieces. We figured that he would write a piece of Jewish music for Michael's birth, which just happened to take place on our first wedding anniversary. But life was busy and inspiration didn't strike. Michael's religious school consecration also passed by unsung. So, surely a piece would be composed when Michael became a bar mitzvah? Nope, didn't happen. Michael's brother Jacob, on the other hand, was honored with a beautiful song by Corey when he became bar mitzvah. And for Corey's parents, Susan and Robert, he wrote a setting of the prayer Modim. How I wish my parents, Eileen and Marty Winkler, could have traveled to be here with us tonight. My incredibly talented husband even wrote a choral piece for the Interfaith Clergy Curling League, of which he is a past president and an active member. And if you don't know what curling is, join the club. all gorgeous music, like his many other compositions. But nothing for Michael's confirmation, high school graduation, or even his graduation from McGill University. And so, after all this time, ordination in 2020 was the goal. But COVID had other plans. So here we are at Michael's installation at Congregation Schaarai Zedek, a vibrant, menschlich congregation with brilliant leadership and my favorite Torah study buddies ever. I am overjoyed to introduce tonight a brand new song composed in honor of our beloved son, Michael Ephraim Weiss. This piece, entitled B'makom, is a gift from both of us. Corey wrote the music and the chorus, and I wrote the verses. A collaboration, just like our Michael. Enjoy.
Yeah, we can.
And I got to follow that. Well, on behalf of the congregation, I would like to thank the Weiss family for sharing Michael with the Schaarai Zedek family. Looking forward to everything that we will all share together. You know, they say there's an expression that you are that your parents are, and I think this is a great indication of that as to what we're seeing tonight. So, and I'm looking forward to many faux bowl meals in the future with you. We enjoy that. So, another announcement, everyone should know that tomorrow the internet is going to be a buzz, or what do they say? It's going to be very busy because we're going to have probably the largest Torah study session. It's going to be by country between Canada and Tampa, 9 a.m. here, and anyone who's not here can watch virtually, so the internet might slow down a bit because of all the bandwidth. So stay tuned. Thank you for coming tonight.
Just one more quick reminder. The next 2 Friday evenings, I know you all will be here. Our services begin at 5:30 p.m. So the 24th and the 31st will be here at 5:30. I would remind those on public access that we'll still be at 7 o'clock, but that broadcast already ended. So sorry to the folks on public access who can no longer see us anyway. For Rabbi and his family, just as I know that you're so delighted to be here, and I know some are with us online, but I know this is also a time to remember those other folks who brought you here, who set the stage for your grandparents, who set the stage for your parents. I know they are all remembering those family that they see through you today, just as we're all remembering our loved ones who we wish were sitting with us this evening as well. We miss them at celebrations when there's an empty seat at the table. We miss them when the community gathers and there's an empty place beside us. We miss them today and every today, with every year that passes as our life goes on without them. Their faces, their voices, the feel of our arms around them, these are with us forever. For so it is written, love is as strong as death. The love that we gave, the love we received, these endure amid the pain of loss. It's now at this time that we remember those who have recently been laid to rest, those in our community and loved ones of our community for whom we're in a period of Shloshim. Remember Sherman Tufel, Jules Deutsch, Harold Rose, Mandel, Hinks Schimberg, Reed Friedman, Sam Diamond, Dov Sussman, Florence Katz, Charles Osofsky, and Jose A. Mijares. We also remember those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose passing, occurs at this time. Ivan Abrams, Walter Arco, Margaret Barris, Shirley Besserman, Frank Black, Ephraim Borkoff, Rosalie Borrow, Elaine Brin, Harold Broder, Lawrence Cohen, Helen Deems, Jerry Farkas, Shirley Finman, Mike Friedman, Leon Gersten, Clara Gilbert, Bruce Golden, Stuart Golding, Mary Goldman, David Gottfried, Marshall Graham, Joanne Greenberg, Arlene Greenberg, Jackie Guerra, Charles Hyman, Sandra Kalick, Albert Kalmus, Celia Kaplan, Harold Cass, Sidney Kasser, Estrella Kirstein, Irina Kaskina, Morris Koblenzer Jr., Shimon Lazar, Sylvia Levine, Louis Lubitz, Marilyn Morse, Brian Newman, Samuel Musner, Joan Parness, Isidore Richter, Lila Roth, Thelma Russo, Rhoda Walk, Burton Weil, Marilyn Weissman, Ann Wolfe, Harold Wolfe, Jacob Yesino. We remember them as we remember all of our loved ones who are no longer with us, who, though unmentioned, are always in our hearts. As we rise, preparing for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, we offer praise and thanks to God for having shared such special lives with us. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma tivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon v'chayev d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shmei d'kudasha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And the source of peace, send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say together. Now we'll ask Jacob to come up one more time as we will end our service singing those words, asking that the one who makes peace in the heavens makes peace for us on earth, for all of us, as we say, and we'll sing. Amen.
May God give strength to God's wonderful people and bless all of us with the greatest gift of all, the gift of peace. We'll say together.
Amen.
Amen.
And Shabbat Shalom. And wait, there's more.
Oh, there is more.
Because we have an Oneg Shabbat tonight.
Yay.
How about it? Yes. Out on the side, you can go right through there. We have yummy Oneg Shabbat.
Oh, it's a good one.
Shabbat Shalom.
La, 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 la.
La, 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 la.